Joining me now is Congresswoman Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina, who's criticized her party over these stricter and total bans that have been around the country. Congresswoman, it's good to see you, and we have you on today because you introduced a new bill on contraception, trying to make it more over-the-counter completely. Give me a little bit of details. If your bill passed, what do you believe it would do?
Well, particularly after Roe v. Wade being overturned, we want to make sure that women have access to birth control wherever they can get it. And this bill would speed up the application process to the FDA for approval, would cut that time in half. It would also waive the fees for companies that are applying for self-administered birth control options for women. It would waive those fees and make it more efficient and more affordable as well down the line through that application process. So it would speed it up. It still makes it safe and more cost effective because we want women to have access to it no matter where they are.
Do you believe we can make all birth control over the counter?
Well, I think for self-administered birth control, that should be an option if we can do that. In my home state of South Carolina, Chuck, we have entire counties in rural areas that don't have a single OBGYN doctor. So what are we going to do to help improve the lives of those women? If we're serious about saving lives, then certainly, especially in states where they're banning abortion, we ought to give every woman access to the birth control that they want and need.
We could sit here and talk about specifics. I could talk about the 6-week ban that's proposed in Florida. We could talk about this court case. But I want to go big picture here with you for a second. Do you feel as if anybody in your party saw their election returns in 2022? Because I look around at some of these, and I don't mean to be a bit cynical about this, but it's like there seems to be a whistling past where the public is on this, particularly with voters, with women voters on the center, right, and in the middle.
Right. We clearly buried our heads in the sand after Dobbs. And you said earlier that for independents and for women especially, that it was their #1 issue. I represent a district where we have independents, Republicans, and Democrats. Independents outnumber Republicans by double digits. Independents and Democrats outnumber Republicans in my district 2-1. But across the board, in my election, the #2 issue, #1 was inflation, but the #2 issue for everybody, regardless of politics, was abortion. And we don't have a plan. We're not working together. We're not showing compassion for women, especially women who've been raped, especially for girls who are victims of incest, especially for women in poor and rural areas that don't have access to birth control or doctors who can get them birth control. What are we doing? What's the plan? And so I decided, Chuck, that just about every week that we're in session for at least the first part of this year, I'm filing a bill addressing these issues. And this week, it was this contraception bill to speed up the process for self-administered birth control.
What do you think should happen if this federal judge decides to essentially take that one of those abortion pills off the market? What would you like to see the federal government do? What do you think state governors should do? Is there anything that can be done?
Well, I find it very difficult to believe that a medical product that was approved by the FDA could be pulled off the shelves. And so I would imagine that would have to go through the courts and up to the Supreme Court as well. But I have a hard time seeing how that would be legal in this country, regardless of the way you felt about that medication.
And I'm not trying to bait you here, but do you think a Republican can run on the idea that they're for freedom if they're in favor of these extraordinarily restrictive laws on abortion, 6 weeks and things like that?
Well, I'll tell you, in the state of South Carolina, a state lawmaker just last week filed a bill that would allow women to be executed who had abortions. If we're going to say women can't travel out of state, if we're going to say women should be executed for having an abortion, these are not messages that we can stand behind. And we have to stand up to the extremism and show some balance, show a way that we can protect the right to life and protect women's rights. Because when you talk to women across the country and across the political spectrum, we agree somewhere in the middle. There are a number of things that we agree with on this issue, whether it's 20 weeks or 15 weeks, or looking at contraception and the right to access those things, women who've been raped, girls who are victims of incest. There are many things that we agree on, but my party's silent on these issues, and I refuse to be silent. I'm going to continue to be vocal and fight for women everywhere.
Hey, before I let you go, considering what's happened with January 6th again and it's dividing your party again, you think it was the right call for Kevin McCarthy to unilaterally give the January 6th footage to a lone host? I don't know what to call them.
I said so on February 22nd. I disagreed with that decision. I believe if we're going to release that footage, release it to every media outlet and release it to every defense attorney who said they didn't have access to it, and to the public at large, so they can make a decision after seeing that footage on their own.
Right, but doing it this way sort of probably was the worst of all outcomes?
Well, I don't believe in filtering it through a singular lens. This is something that happened. It was not a good day in our country, and everyone in our country should be able to see what happened that day. It was a very difficult day.
You were there. Was it
violent?
violent?
Repeat history.
Was it violent?
It was. It was. And I will tell you, I had death threats leading up to that because I said I was going to certify the Electoral College. And ever since then, Chuck, I've had to carry a gun everywhere I go. And I've been very vocal about that. But at the same time, we can learn from this. We can work on ensuring it doesn't happen again, ensure that we are being honest with the American people, and heal our nation. We've got to heal.
Let me ask you a quick question on presidential politics. If you decide to endorse, will their position on abortion matter to you before you make that decision? I'm thinking Nikki Haley or Tim Scott in particular.
It is, and it is. And I've talked to people. This is an issue that is near and dear to my heart, and I know that it matters to my voters. It matters to my constituents. It matters to my state. And if we want to be serious about winning the White House in 24, then we've got to be serious when we're talking about this issue.
Do you think you're the candidate? Do you think Nikki Haley has the right position on this yet?
We've had some very encouraging conversations about the issue. I've talked to her about it. It's one of the first subjects I brought up when I heard she was going to be running for Congress, and I was impressed with her responses, and I hope that there are others who will feel the same way.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace, Republican from Charleston area in South Carolina. Appreciate you coming on, sharing your perspective with us. Always good to get it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.